You're watching the ET Money Show on ET Now, and firstly, like we were telling you, that we are going to discuss on how you're going to you should not be falling trap of the mis-selling. This is a very interesting topic, and somewhat we ignore this, but trust me, these are the pointers that we are going to discuss and with our expert today, that how you should not fall trap of this. And to discuss all of that, we are being joined by Mr. P.V. Subramaniam of subramani.com. Thank you so much, Mr. Subramaniam, for joining us today on ET Now. So starting with this topic, firstly, if you can help our viewers understand what exactly is mis-selling of financial products just for their help, and how one should avoid this.
Okay, Shrishti, mis-selling happens in various forms. First of all, you could buy a very bad product. Okay, the product itself is defective, which means it's very, very profitable for the manufacturer or for the distributor who is giving it to you. Right? It is very profitable for them, but not for you as an investor. So that could be a bad product, which is bad for everybody. It is bad for Shrishti, it is bad for me, it is bad for your parents, it's bad for everybody. It is immaterial of age. Then there are some products which are completely inappropriate for you, right? Selling a pension plan to you, which will pay pension after 10 years. It's a very, very inappropriate product for you. You don't need it at all. You've got another 30 years of working life ahead of you, maybe more, but not less. But that may be a good product for your parents if they are, say, 65 years of age. An immediate pension or even a pension after 10 years may be appropriate for them. So selling inappropriate products, selling products which are very expensive, and looking at other alternatives, which means if there is a cheaper alternative, and if I'm trying to sell to you, I should sell you the most optimum product. Need not be the cheapest, but it should be the most optimum product. So seeing whether it is a good product and whether it is appropriate for you is what the person who is your advisor should be doing. And sometimes there are other pressures because of which the most optimum product is not sold. In fact, the worst product is sold because of sales pressures. That is, to my mind, mis-selling.
Thank you so much, Mr. Subramaniam, for helping our viewers understand this particular term. But coming on to the topic, that a lot of us can actually relate to this. Either we have some personal experiences, or we must have heard some kind of stories around it. Why exactly this really happens, and how do people really fall for this? Or I must ask you, which are those could be the real red flags when you are being pushed for some kind of product in a particular manner? Then you should be aware that maybe this is not for me, or maybe I need some more of thinking on these products. How do you see this?
What happens, Srishti, is people don't ask around, right? So if, believe it or not, even your parents, if they are going to look for a product, you are the last person that they will ask. They will assume that they know, because they did not consult you while buying a house, they did not consult you while buying a car. So they don't think it is necessary that they need help. But financial products are very complicated. It's a jungle out there, and you need help. So that is step one, is to seek help. Second is, there is always pressure from the sales side saying, ये product ले लो, अभी ले लो. And the typical language is, sir, ये 30th April ये product बंद हो रहा है. So please buy it before 30th April. Or, those kind of dates, or saying, you can buy it in installments, you can pay now, you can pay partly later on. So this is very good, and, very easy to sell products to grandparents, saying, this product is very good for your grandchild. People don't think twice about buying something for their children, not for their grandchild. So these kind of pressure happens. What happens is, the sales side, they want to achieve some targets, and they want to, that's always true, right? Everybody has some targets. So they look for people who will fall for the target, and then they just go and pile on, and they are able to sell. And typical pressure tactics: calling up in the morning, calling up in the evening. Can I speak to your wife? Is she the decision maker? Can I come home? Can I come home? Just, that kind of tremendous boiler pressure. And that's how it gets done.
Yes, absolutely, because sometimes all of these salesmen get really pushy when they
Yes.
are vouching you for a product. But Mr. Subramaniam, what I understand is that certain products are such that are easy to fall for the bait. Like in the case of insurance, these are some of those really complex products which are hard to understand, because they have a lot of terms and conditions. talking specifically on insurance, what generally goes wrong there, or rather, what one should be looking for when they are going for insurance as a product?
See, what happens is when, let's say, your parent has some balance lying in the bank account, your banker can see how much money is lying there. So he goes there and he finds out that your father is not of insurable age. Let's say he's 65 years of age or 67 years of age. So he's not of insured. So he'll say, "ये आपकी बेटी के लिए ले लो, बहुत अच्छा है, she'll get the money." But he does not even know you. He does not even know whether you need insurance, whether you're married, whether you're studying, whether you're earning. Nothing he knows. So he goes and sells to your father because it's easy to sell, and he says वहाँ पे तो medical भी नहीं लगेगा, so वो product वो बेच देता है. So in insurance, first of all, anybody who is buying insurance should see whether there is anybody dependent on him or her, or whether anybody will be dependent later on. So if you are unmarried and you're not planning a marriage next say 2, 3 years, 5 years, which means you're not going to have children for another 5 years, 6 years. So there's going to be nobody dependent on you. However, if you buy a car or if you were to buy a house, you should take insurance so that in case of your death, your family does not have to pay the loan, right? Your father should not have to come to the location where you are to, or something like, and there's nobody financially dependent. Yeah, a parent is normally dependent on the child emotionally, not financially. So the child does not need insurance. Father does not need insurance because the child is already earning, except to the extent that if I have a daughter and I'm paying for her education and I've borrowed money for that, I will take a small term insurance. But the need is only for a pure term insurance for any of us. But what is sold is an endowment product or a unit linked product, which are far more difficult to understand. Exactly like you said, these are products which are more difficult to understand and perhaps not necessary for 99% of the population. So yeah, so you have to be careful. You have to ask. I think the most important thing which I've been saying again and again is ask around. Like your father should ask you before he buys. You should ask somebody else in case you don't know. Ask around, ask people who are in the business, who are in the industry. Call a competitor. If one company A is selling to you, call company B and ask them ये product अच्छा है क्या? They will tell you the details, right? Everybody is happy to tell you about the competitor's bad product. So happily you will be able to collect all the details and then take a decision. Moreover, Shruti, it's also very important to know that you need only simple product. You need one index fund, maybe you need one term insurance, one credit card, and one savings bank account. Beyond that, you have to have the ability and the guts and the nerve to say no. अब ना बोलते जाओ, जो भी प्रोडक्ट आपको ऑफर करता है, एफ एंड ओ है, ब्रोकरेज अकाउंट है, ये है, जस्ट कीप सेइंग नो. They will put a lot of pressure. They'll call you 20 times in a day. When you go to the bank, they'll say, "Sir, ये FD में तो कुछ भी return नहीं आ रहा है, आप इसमें डाल दो." Just say no. It is not appropriate for you. Just say no.
Mr. Subramaniam, I must say that insurance products must be complex, but your answers and your solutions to that, how to analyze these insurance products, were really simple. We tend to ignore these ones, but are really, really important for one that they are looking for some kind of insurance product. But Mr. Subramaniam, credit cards is another product where we get a lot of calls and pressure for applying one. But how to analyze and how to judge that, do we really need it, and how to check this out, like how to like avoid getting in this kind of a trap?
See, I like to keep saying this, that credit card is like Google, right? You find what you want to find. So if you search for bad things, you'll find bad things. You search for good things. I'm sure you can search in Google for how to make a bomb, you'll be able to find it. But that is not the purpose. The purpose is, yes, you need a credit card. There is no mistake about mistaking on that. Suppose you are stuck in Delhi, you were traveling by a Kingfisher flight and your return flight is cancelled. You need to book a ticket then and there, maybe 5,000 rupees. You may not be carrying 5,000 rupees, or you may not have 5,000 rupees in your savings bank account. What do? You flash a credit card and buy it, but you should know how to use it, right? Whenever you are buying something on the credit card, remember that you have to pay for it by the end of the month. As soon as you get your salary, you should be able to pay for it. So if you think you can spare 20,000 rupees to buy something, buy it. If you think you can spare 2 lakhs to buy, by all means buy for 2 lakhs, but you should not carry credit card debt. Carrying debt is voluntary, right? You should take a credit card, use the facilities, you get points for it, you get lounge access in the airports, So that is useful. And in case of an emergency, use it. If somebody has to be admitted to hospital at 2 a.m., it's a beautifully useful thing. But the question is, do you get carried away? Do you go out for a party with friends, run a 45,000 rupee bill, pay for it, and then find at the end of the month you're unable to pay, so you carry it forward? Then the rates of interest are seriously high. Shylock would be ashamed of these kind of rates. So you could be ending up paying 42%, 45% interest per annum. That is ridiculously high. So you have to be careful that you should never have credit, never use the credit facility of a credit card. Use it as an aggregator. Whenever you go to a Starbucks or anywhere, 170 rupees, 230 rupees, by all means charge it to your credit card. But 4 days before the due date, if your bill is due on the 7th of the month, by 3rd or 4th of the month, you should pay off the bill. That is important. Using the credit card sanely is important. It is like saying, oh, there's a highway where the speed limit is 230. You can still drive at 110, right? You can still drive at 80 and still be safe. You don't have to drive at those things. Don't use the credit facility of a credit card just because it's available. Don't buy an expensive dress. Don't throw a party charging it on the credit card, which you know you won't be able to pay at the end of the month. Other than emergency expenses like medical or hospitalization, I don't see any other expense which should be charged which you're unable to pay at the end of the month. Movie tickets, eating out, coffee, some dress, all that's fine. Pay off at the end of the month. It's a beautiful place to aggregate. End of the year, they even give you a breakup. Where have you spent? How much have you spent on a Ola or an Uber or all those expenses are broken up for you. It is an extremely useful thing. You should know how to use it. Don't misuse it and then blame the card. That's not fair.
Thank you so much, Mr. Subramanian, for highlighting all of these points. But till now, we have discussed how to be aware of getting into this trap of misselling of financial product. But what if somebody is already a victim of this misselling of the financial products? What solutions would you like to come up with? How do they report? How do they get about? Because sometimes people, and especially the ones who don't have much knowledge about the product that they have bought, they feel really helpless. Like, what would your advice for them?
It's really very difficult a question to answer, because if you have bought an insurance product, you already paid one premium or two premium, then there is no choice what you have to do. You have to pay a minimum of five premium, and after that you can make it fully paid up. But there is a minimum pay period, which would be 5 years, and then you may have to wait for 2 3 years to recover your money and get it back. In insurance, there is no choice. If you have run up credit card debt, and if you're young, if you're 22 years of age and you have run up credit card debt, go to your parent, apologize, take money from them, and pay off the card in full. Right? You could do that, and then you could repay your parent at a slower pace, because the rate of interest won't be that high. Your parent could give you a loan at a lower rate, so therefore you could pay it off, or at zero interest. So pay it off. Those are two things you can do. If you have bought a bad mutual fund, there is not much of a problem. There is no lock-in. You will be able to come out of it. So these are the three solutions. More importantly, if you think that you were not told the truth, and you were forced to buy a wrong product, you can go to the ombudsman in case of insurance, the ombudsman in case of the banking, and to SEBI in case of mutual funds. In case of credit cards, again, you can go to the RBI ombudsman, and they will sort it out for you. I mean, you can hope that they sort it out for you. It's not very easy. Justice is not very easy in this country. You can, of course, go to the consumer court, for which you may or may not need a lawyer. If you are capable of handling it at the consumer court, you don't need a lawyer. But if you are at an advanced age and you don't know, then you will need a lawyer. But consumer court also, you get justice, and perhaps faster than you could get even at the ombudsman. So these are the choices you have. But ideally, like I said, again and again, I'm saying, ask before you buy. खरीदने के बाद it's very difficult to get justice.
Well, absolutely. And thank you so much, Mr. Subramaniam, for joining us today on ET Now. And I'm sure that our viewers would be having a very good takeaway, where they not only know now that how they should not be falling a trap of these
Yeah.
financial products, but they do have a solution as well, instead of feeling really helpless at such point of time. Thank you so much for all your time, Mr. Subramaniam.
Thank you.